In today's society, teasing someone who's fat or obese isn't right. Listen to this song, Fat Man. It's not right. I see lawsuits coming. Fat Man, wow. Making fun. Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Oh yeah, Fantasy Friday edition of the program. The weekend is upon us. 11 days till, I think it's pronounced Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras. What a history. Back in the middle 70s, this guy Mardi Gras from Cleveland comes down to New Orleans. And he was staying for an extended weekend back in the mid-70s. And he partied on Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. But then the weekend ended and the weekday started up, the work week. And he was still visiting. He was pretty frustrated on Monday. And then on Tuesday he said, we're going to party. So this guy Mardi Gras partied on a Tuesday. And the rest is history. This celebration goes back at least 40 plus years. The celebration of Mardi Gras, a guy from Cleveland that said, hey, on a Tuesday, I'm going to party. And like the song just said, Fat Man, that's why they call it Fat Tuesday. Mr. Mardi Gras was a little overweight. Thank you, Mr. Mardi Gras, who's now retired, living in Cleveland, the city known as the Mistake on the Lake. He's still eating boxes of fudge. He's still eating lots of ice cream and candy. He's still the fat man. And without Mr. Mardi Gras, there'd be no Carnival celebration here in New Orleans. What a history. Incredible. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Corey, what the hell are you talking about? Who knows? Mardi Gras. 11 days away, 11 days and counting. Yeah, you right. No, Latoya.org, 12 days left. I think they're getting close. Will they hit that number? Will you be in that number? I hope so. Anyone that cares about New Orleans, it's shocking. 1 out of 5 registered voters is all this recall effort needs. 1 out of 5. And they've done a great job with this recall effort. You got to give Eileen Carter and Belden Batiste credit, but there are no moral victories. What's shocking is this thing wasn't already done. Like a 6-month time period to get it done, like 3 months ago, they should have turned in 49,000 plus signatures to the clerk of court's office up in Baton Rouge. This thing should already be done. It just yells about the apathy in the city of New Orleans, excuse making, lame behavior. Kind of reminds me of one of New Orleans' greatest crews, Zulu, the Zulu Social Aid or Aid and Social Club, I should say. Over 100 years, they refuse to budge, actually doubling down. It's sinful behavior by Zulu. We constantly hear from the black and white community in New Orleans, as we should, when any type of racism takes place in New Orleans and beyond. Any type. And we should. That call should never end. When racism takes place, it should be pointed out. A spotlight should be put on it, and those committing the racist acts should be held accountable. But also, the flip side of that should take place. And I'm not talking about Zulu doing something racist, per se. I'm talking about Zulu doing something wrong, big time wrong. And they're doubling down, and they refuse to budge. And embarrassingly, cowardly, not coming on this program. I give the call to any Zulu member that wants to speak as a Zulu member, not representing the organization, a Zulu member that is representing the organization. The phone lines are always open to you. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 504-766-9480. 766-9480. What am I talking about? back in January, I think it was January 14th, at Zulu's headquarters on Broad and Orleans, they brought in Irvin Mayfield, convicted felon, who got out early, must have pulled some strings, knows somebody with the feds that got him out early, supposed to serve 85% of your sentence. Judge Zaney, instead of sentencing Irvin Mayfield to the full 5 years, which he totally deserved, sentences him to only 18 months. He spent 8 months in that Pensacola Country Club, 3 months at a halfway house, 11 months total, and he is out. $500 restitution a month. That's $6,000 a year. That's $60,000 over a decade instead of $60,000 a year. He stole over $1.3 million from New Orleans' youngest, most vulnerable. Inner city black children, little boys and girls, primarily black in New Orleans, stealing $1.3 million from the library system of Orleans Parish. And just obnoxious behavior, as we all know, with that $1.3 million. Zulu couldn't wait. Just so excited to bring Irvin Mayfield in to perform on January 14th at the Zulu headquarters on Broad in Orleans. Now they're doubling down. They refuse to budge, keeping that Irvin Mayfield gig scheduled for Mardi Gras at Waldenberg Park. Just sinful behavior by Zulu, one of New Orleans' best, most historic crews, most significant crews. Just selling out their members, selling out the city of New Orleans, making terrible choices. Hey, Zulu, do you know how many black musicians are struggling right now that are legitimate, that work hard, that haven't committed any crime, that haven't committed a heinous felony against New Orleans' most vulnerable? I doubt for a minute if some white musician would have stolen $1.3 million from New Orleans' most vulnerable children, inner city black kids, boys and girls, that Zulu would be letting off the gas. They'd be crucifying this person. Instead, Zulu doubling down. The January 4th concert wasn't enough. Now Irvin Mayfield still scheduled to perform on Mardi Gras. It's not too late, Zulu. Cancel Irvin Mayfield and go hire another black musician or white musician or Latino. Make it a black musician for your Mardi Gras celebration. But this convicted felon that'll never pay back the $1.3 million. Never. Probably has hundreds of thousands of dollars of that money right now. Hidden, buried, in a bank account for all to see. Who knows? All I know is Irvin Mayfield is not a good person. This is what he got busted for. The feds need to invest that $10 million New Orleans Music Center, whatever it is, on MLK, ironically, on MLK Boulevard, and Aretha Castle Haley, a couple of heroes for the black community. It's on that corner. And Zulu continues to look the other way, or worse, justify their actions. Absolutely pathetic and embarrassing. Now, I was considering joining Zulu or this crew of St. Anne, this marching club, was figuring out what I was going to do. I spoke about this. And then the Irvin Mayfield thing, coupled with Zulu refusing to put anyone of significance on this program, I didn't even want to discuss the Irvin Mayfield thing much. That was going to be maybe 10%. I wanted to talk about Zulu and their history, and basically got ignored for a while. Finally reached out again saying to them, I'm getting ignored. And then finally just getting a month ago, too busy now for anyone to come on your program to discuss Zulu. No, too busy to come on my program because you knew I was going to ask about Irvin Mayfield, and you knew there was no way you could justify it. And yeah, I'm relentless. I don't stop because I'm righteous. I try to be righteous. I'm not perfect, but Zulu isn't even attempting to be righteous on this. Zulu is contributing to their own demise by justifying Irvin Mayfield's existence Absolutely pathetic behavior. No, shame on Zulu for tarnishing their image by bringing this convicted criminal, this felon, to not one but two concerts that Zulu is having. Absolutely pathetic. Hey, Zulu, I got a message for you. Irvin Mayfield is a bad individual. Always has been,
Rouse's
always will
Market
be.
is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you. Or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, now with 4 area locations. Canal at Carrollton, on the North Shore and Slidell, in Baton Rouge by the Mall of Louisiana, and now in Metairie, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. The Woodhouse Day Spa.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the Italian sausage with peppers or the soft-shell crab ravioli. Lunch Monday to Friday. Dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets, a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anyway. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, no cool side. NOLAAC.com, no cool side.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" And he said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Healthy and delicious? Hard to find in New Orleans, easy to find at Lebanon's Cafe. For the finest in Middle Eastern cuisine, make it the Mediterranean diet. On Carrollton at Jeanette, Lebanon's Cafe.
As New Orleans as Mardi Gras. Corey Johnson on the neutral ground.
We're all just blocking the street. Come on, I gotta deliver this pizza. Screw it. We won't stop blocking the street. Yeah, stop blocking the street.
Yeah, you right. Mardi Gras, 11 days away. 4 days until Valentine's Day, guys. Don't blow it. Get her what she wants. A day of relaxation, I should say, at the city's premier day spa. That's the Woodhouse Day Spa. 4 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, Mandeville, coming online in 4 weeks. Yeah, you right. Valentine's Day, this Tuesday, 4 days away. Don't blow it. She is expecting something. Get her what she wants. A day of relaxation at the city's premier day spa, the Woodhouse Day Spa. Fletcher Mackel is going to join us in about 60 seconds on the program. You can too. Hey, you want to know what is a great Mardi Gras place that's got all your Mardi Gras? I mean, from sandwiches to beer, ice chests, ice, soft drinks, whatever you want. You want to know what your Mardi Gras headquarters is? Rouse's Markets. If you go into a Rouse's, it smells like Mardi Gras. Best quality, best price, best selection, and they're baking king cakes at all of the Rouse's locations. You can ship those king cakes around the country. Rouses.com. Yeah, you right. Rouses.com. All right. What a nightmare. Really? All right. Let's see if we can hear him now. That's terrible. Let's see if we can get him on. Otherwise, we'll have to try something else. That's ridiculous. I can't believe that. We had an engineer in here fixing that phone problem, Jason. Fletcher Mackel can't hear us? That's terrible. Let's see if he can now. Fletch, are you there? Fletch, can you hear us? Wow, that is unbelievable. That just ticks me off. We fixed the friggin' problem. All right. Tell Fletch we'll try him on another line, and we'll go in that direction. Wow, what a nightmare. Technical crap. I don't see how that happened again. Jason had an engineer in here, fixed it. Worked yesterday fine. Worked yesterday perfectly. Now we're having a problem again. What a nightmare. Seriously. It is annoying. You've got to just kind of move on and ignore the problem, but that's no fun. Anyway. Hey, Fletch, I think we got you now. I apologize for that technical problem.
I feel bad. I hear you perfectly. Then it makes that static sound like it's patching me through, and then nothing. It goes dark.
Yeah, no, that's when you should be able to continue to hear. So
right. That's like, I know always like it's like I got you perfect, and then you hear like the, and then normally that's when I know I'm on, except it does like that, and then it's like nothing. It's like, and I'm like, hello. And so then I just hung up and called back, and he's been trying to patch me, and I feel bad for your producer, but I'm like, I don't know. I hear you perfect. Then it makes the, and then there's nothing. I hear nothing.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I'm sitting there going, Fletch, can you hear me? Can you hear me? It sounds like the T-Mobile commercial.
So I feel bad because I'm thinking, I hear you saying my name, and then I hear the, and then it's like nothing, and I'm like, okay, I don't hear anything, so I feel bad.
I'm laughing because you've got the noise down perfectly as we patch you in.
I know. Well, I just did it 3 times in like 2 minutes. So,
yeah.
You know.
4, actually. Anyway.
All right. You want to just hang on here then?
Anyway.
Are we on right now?
Oh, yeah. We're live right now. Yeah. No.
Oh, my bad. I'm glad I didn't curse or do something really silly. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I didn't realize we were on. So, sorry about that. I don't know what was going on. So,
no, and you're like me.
I didn't say anything dumb just now in the last minute. So.
You're like me, and I don't mean this in a disparaging way. You and I are exactly alike in a lot of ways. Yaddy New Orleanians. I'm sure somebody talking to you on the street, I'm pretty sure they, especially friends, Fletch, how have you never cursed on the air? I bet you've had that question asked to you by friends and acquaintances over your last 20 plus years in New Orleans television. I'd say a few times a year. At least I get it a few times a year.
Let me say this. It's a miracle in the last 60 seconds I didn't say anything like, what the F is going on with the phones or something like that. So the fact that we just got through that and I thought that was just you calling me and I didn't realize it was like I was patched back in. So I'm going to go ahead and breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah, sorry about that. Could have brought up the hookers and the drugs and all that stuff from last week with us. So it's a good thing we didn't bring that up.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Oh, boy. I'll tell you one thing about Fletcher Mackel. Fletcher, you probably had about, I don't want to guess, but you and your brother, I mean, for the longest time, zero alcohol in your life. And I think it's pretty safe to say I don't think either one of you have really been drunk in your life. Y'all are like me. You might have like a glass of wine or a beer or something like that. The Mackel boys, I know no drugs ever, but no real alcohol consumption by you guys of any significance. Is that safe to say?
Yeah. Growing up here, we were oddities.
You and me
brother
both.
and I didn't drink in high school, college, early adulthood, just high on life, so to say.
Yeah, no.
So as I got into my 30s, I definitely enjoy wine, like with a steak or like a glass of wine occasionally. But we are not heavy consumers of alcohol.
No.
Although I do, I don't want to make it seem as if I don't drink now. I definitely will partake in a glass of wine.
Right, but it's not like, oh, that Mackel kid's hammered. It's just you're not going to see that.
No, and I can assure you, sometimes when people say, "Boy, I tied one on last night," or "I don't remember this," it's like, yeah, I can assure you, in my 40 plus years of life, I have never been there.
I'll never forget. This is probably like 15 years ago, and I'm pretty sober. I mean, I have like a beer. It's like 2 a.m, and it's like the Bridge Lounge, and I bump into you, and you're ordering like a cranberry and 7-Up or a Red Bull and something. I'm just like, and that's when I was like, you don't drink? And you're like, no, dude, I've never had really a drink. I don't drink. And I'm just like, wow. And I'm like, you and I were like the most sober people in that joint. And I was like, and I'm ready to go home, and you're just rolling on the Red Bull or whatever. And I was like, how do you tolerate all these drunks late at night? And you're just like, no, just roll with it and have a good time. I get a little sort of, especially late night when people are just hammered, like they're deaf mutes during the week, and then they get juiced up and you can't shut them up. It's like, wow.
I know what you mean.
No, you've always been pretty cool being able to roll with that. I kind of lose my patience. You're a little more tolerable with people, I think. Anyway, that's probably your good mommy raising you boys, right?
Probably so.
All right. You ready to get off the drinking and cursing topics?
Sure.
Are you yawning right now?
I was in fact, yeah.
So I'm putting you to sleep, huh?
No, just, maybe I need the afternoon coffee right now to get a little pick-me-up going.
Listen to that. Fletcher Mackel just, oh, yeah, Carr, I'll do your segment, dude. Oh, boy. Hey, one of your spots, I like it too. Ralph's on the Park, solid place, good view, all that good stuff. The Saints apparently bringing Derek Carr and maybe his wife over there. And beyond that, like 48 hours or so in New Orleans, at least a night, if not a couple of nights in New Orleans. Serious, I wouldn't even say flirtation, maybe more than that going on with the Saints and Carr, correct?
Oh, yeah. I mean, make no mistake. They want him, and I think he's interested in New Orleans. So, look, the Saints, whatever you believe about how they operate, know that they are super aggressive. That Mickey Loomis's first time overseeing the draft was 2003. He trades up for Jonathan Sullivan. When Sean Payton got here, common sense may have said, draft the quarterback as you start over. Draft Matt Leinart or Vince Young 2 overall. They went right after Drew Brees, who couldn't throw a football. Last year, they took a PR smack in the face for going after Deshaun Watson hard. So they're decisive, and this is their decision. I mean, I don't know if it's going to work out, but make no mistake, they want Derek Carr to be their quarterback.
Now, does it have to be a trade, or, can they just wait for him to be released by the Raiders and then grab him, or does he go through that protocol where maybe another team would be able to grab him?
Well, like, therein lies the rub, so to say. I don't know. I mean, if they really want him, they could trade for him and make sure that he never hits free agency, and it would be something that he's theirs, and he's playing for the Saints. Maybe this meeting, maybe he said, hey, I want to sign here as a free agent. And the Saints kind of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That means we don't have to give up a value pick like a 3rd-round draft pick to Vegas. They're going to release you before they. So just so people know right now, if he's on the Las Vegas Raiders roster on Wednesday, so in 5 days, if he's on the Vegas roster, they owe him his full salary for this season. So they are going to either trade him or release him by Wednesday or by the close of business Wednesday.
And he has to approve the trade, right? He has a no-trade clause?
He has a no-trade clause in his contract. So he has to approve the trade or be released, but he will not be a Vegas Raider come Wednesday. So if he came here as an exploratory meeting and said, you know what, Saints, I want more weapons. I'm signing with you. I know they're going to release me, and you're my team. Maybe the Saints say, great, let's just wait it out. Don't give up the pick, and he's going to sign with us as a free agent. Or maybe the Saints say, you know what, we don't want to wait. We don't want anything to derail it. You're our guy. We're sending the Raiders. I'm just using that as an example. Because I reportedly saw that it's from some of our national colleagues that it's going to be a 3rd or 4th round draft pick.
Yeah, I was going to say it's really going to be nothing. Hold that thought, Fletch. We're going to knock out a quick break. Come back more, talk about this and some other topics. Fridays with Fletch. Don't move, New Orleans.
Hey, guys, it's Frank Smith from LasVegasGambling.com with your weekend 5-star lock of the week. Lock of the week. Lock of the week. Take the Lakers and the points over the Clippers. Sell the house. Sell the boat. Sell your children. Send grandma away and take the money. Put everything you've got on this 5-star selection. It's the Lakers over the Clippers. And we've also got a fantastic 5-star parlay as well. Call us now. 888-555-7777. It's Frank Smith, a.k.a. The Hammer, from LasVegasGambling.com. Do it now.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about New Orleans food, fresh local seafood, and even a few Italian specialties. Old school New Orleans, just like you remember. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
Kanye West was seen shopping at Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
I am Shakespeare in the flesh. Walt Disney, Nike, Google.
Okay, I think Kanye was talking about something else entirely. Super Discount Store on Paris Road in Chalmette.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Enjoy outdoor dining on the streetcar line, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, the finest in Middle Eastern cuisine, Carrollton at Jeanette, Lebanon's Cafe.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAC.com, your cool spot.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Hey, why aren't you at Katie's right now? As New Orleans as it gets, the quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant, a great Super Bowl spot for Sunday. And by the way, you'll want to check out the 1 o'clock game on ESPN. Number 1 South Carolina hosting number 3 LSU. Going to talk with Fletcher Mackel about that in a few minutes. What a game. A woman's game that is going to have a lot of viewership, especially in these parts. No, and then you get the pregame. After that game, that game should end about 3 o'clock. You'll get like 2.5 hours of pregame leading into the Super Bowl from the desert. What a great Super Bowl. We'll talk about that with Fletcher in a few minutes as well. I'm not a gambler, and I know he isn't either. I wouldn't want to make a pick on this game. I certainly wouldn't want to pick against Pat Mahomes, and Philadelphia is a very balanced football team, and so many stars on the field between both these teams. It's going to be a good one. But yeah, Katie's is a great place to check it all out. A true taste of New Orleans. Like Scott Craig, the chef owner, says, more is better, more of the good things. Katie's in Mid-City. And don't forget about the Katie's of Harahan. Bienvenue, right in the curve on Hickory Avenue, bringing a little of that Mid-City Katie's flavor to Harahan, River Ridge, Old Jefferson, Elmwood. Yeah, the Katie's of Harahan is Bienvenue. And Katie's in Mid-City, Iberville, corner Telemachus. Why aren't you at Katie's right now? Fletcher Mackel is with us again. Hey, Fletch, if Derek Carr gets cut, he's just an unrestricted free agent. There's no waiver thing, and certain teams get a crack at him before the Saints. He's just totally unrestricted.
Well, here's the thing. He can't, nothing can officially happen until the league year starts on February 15th, but I believe he can agree as an unrestricted free agent. It's one of those things where I don't think it's tampering, so to say. But yeah, there's nothing. Once he's released and he's free. There's no strings attached to it, so to say. And I'm sure you'd hear that they've agreed to a deal and then it'll become official like when the league year starts on March 15th. But yeah, so by Wednesday, if he hasn't been traded to another team, the Raiders have already said they're going to release him and just move on and set him free. The Raiders right now are trying to get a compensation pick out of this. They're trying to get a 3rd or 4th round pick.
Yeah.
I'm sure they want a second, but they realize they have no leverage because everybody knows worst case scenario, he's going to be released. So I think the Saints look at it as do we offer if he wants to be here, like, look, does he want to be here? Does he look at this as a place he wants to be? But if he wants to be here and they want him, I could see the Saints being aggressive this week or early next week and saying, we traded for Derek Carr. We've made sure he's not going to get to the free agent market. I could also see that exploratory meeting being, hey, if you want to be here, like, let's just wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You can sign here as a free agent. We'll use that 3rd round draft pick to maybe get you another weapon, offensive lineman, tight end, wide receiver.
Yeah.
And you're going to, so that's one of the reasons why I think they had the meeting. That if he does become a free agent, they've already made inroads to him.
Now, is there first off, would the NFL consider that tampering if there's a wink, wink kind of deal? Would they look into that? And second, could Carr's agent, hey, Derek, I know you said we're going to the Saints. I got 3 phone calls today, and they're willing to, extend your contract and give you more money, and it's a better deal if you think about these teams. Is that a potential risk?
Yeah, so the first part of your question is, I don't think there's any tampering because here's the thing. He's under contract, and the Raiders have worked with him and given him permission and worked with the other teams that want to explore trading for him. So, again, they're moving on. Both Carr and the Raiders have agreed. We're mutually parting ways. We're moving on. So the Raiders would like something out of it. But if Carr, again, like I said, back channeled with the Saints and said, you know what, I'm going to sign with you guys in free agency, forget giving them a pick, I doubt there's anything the Raiders could do. You know, I doubt there is.
But then his agent could be like, Derek, I know you promised to go to the Saints. I represent you in the best interest. We got to look at these other three teams. That's where maybe the Saints before Wednesday pull the trigger to guarantee.
I'm sure his agent, because look, most people believe that there's two starting caliber quarterbacks that are free agents that are better than anybody else that's going to hit the market, and those two players being Derek Carr and Jimmy Garoppolo. But there are teams that feel like they're close and want a veteran starter. The Saints, the Buccaneers, the Washington Commanders, the New York Jets, maybe the Indianapolis Colts, like maybe the Carolina Panthers. That's a lot of teams that could be in for 25 or 30 million. So I'm sure Derek Carr's agent may be saying, we want to get to free agency. We want a bidding war. We want you to get the biggest offer, the biggest deal, the best deal possible. Unrestricted free agency is the way we want to go, because if everybody knows the Saints want you, well, what are the Jets going to pay?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, what are the Commanders willing to pay? Or, you know, what are the Falcons could use a quarterback? What are they willing to pay for you? So I'm sure if you're his agent, the agent is probably hoping unrestricted free agency. That's what we want.
Yeah.
But again, if the Saints take his contract still has 3 years and $116 million.
Yeah, I think and 40 of it's guaranteed. The next 2 years are like 80 million. I mean, you can't decrease it, but another NFL team could increase it and extend it, right?
Well, the Saints are probably going to. So that's the thing. So Derek Carr's contract, it's 3 years and $116 million. 40 million guaranteed the next 2 years, but 32 million this year. So his cap number this year is $32 million. So I was talking with Cantrell from ESPN, who covers the Saints, and she likes all the numbers and the cap stuff. And we were talking, and she goes, look, I can't see the Saints swallowing a $32 million cap hit. They've never done that. They didn't do that with Drew Brees. What they did is they use that term with the Saints is they restructure deals, give the big signing bonuses, and then kick the payments down the road. I mean, the Saints had a $25 million hit with Brees that they are paying off basically like a credit card. They paid $13 million last year and $12 million this year.
Yep.
So if the Saints trade for Derek Carr, odds are he's their quarterback for the next 3 or 4 years.
They're going to give him like $50 million up front and then stretch all that money out over the next 3, 4, 5 years.
Not quite that much, but they'd probably do a $35 million signing bonus and take his first year salary down to like $1 million and then flesh it out over extended amount of years. But that means he's your guy for like no ifs, ands, or buts, 3 years minimum. So you better be sure that Derek Carr is the guy if you're going to take on that kind of salary commitment. Like when you did it with Drew Brees, you knew Drew Brees was the guy. You knew he's your quarterback and we're in it to win it every year.
Yeah.
And that's another way too, is that if Derek Carr hits free agency, there may be teams that could say, hey, it would be better for us to sign you to a 3-year deal with a lot, like they could structure it in a way that would benefit them. So I just think there's a lot of moving parts with Derek Carr, but the one thing that's not like a moving part is, make no mistake, the Saints want him to be their quarterback next year.
All right, now real quick, isn't it safe to say Derek Carr is not some like top tier NFL QB? He's not like a Drew Brees. He's not an Aaron Rodgers. He's not a Pat Mahomes or an Allen or Herbert or any of these guys. Isn't that pretty safe to say?
Yeah, I would say he's certainly not one of the 5 to 10 best. I would put him, this is the example I gave, because so many people are dumping on Derek Carr. I would say I don't disagree with that, because he could, maybe he's never going to be anything special.
Yeah, but he's top 15, top 18. You can win a Super Bowl with him with the right parts around him, right?
Well, this is how I compared him. I compare him more to Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford was in Detroit for 12 years, and he broke every passing record with the Lions. He went to the playoffs twice and was 0 for 2 in 12 years. Yet, like, yet he went to the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
So I look at Derek Carr and think maybe he could be more like Matthew Stafford. Like, I still don't think Matthew Stafford is in the same breath with Mahomes and Burrow and Allen and Rodgers and Brady. But yeah, Stafford is probably somewhere in that high water mark 8 to 10, but no lower than like.
No, I got you. Now, real quick, the $32 million plus question. I like Andy Dalton. I don't think Andy Dalton was a problem per se. And I think Derek Carr is better than Andy Dalton right now. Dalton's about 34, 35. Carr's like 31, 32. It's like a 3-year age difference. Is Derek Carr worth 2 to 3 times more than Andy Dalton?
So just so you know, try like 5 times more, because that's another great debate. I don't know. I think he probably is, but that's where we get into the great debate of Andy Dalton made $3 million this year with incentives. He may have made closer to 5.
But I think he'd probably be like, a $10, $12, $15 million a year guy if the Saints re-sign him?
Yeah, if the Saints re-sign him, he's probably going to land somewhere around 10 because the Saints are going to re-sign him to be their starter. So somewhere around 10 or 12 or 10 or 15, let's just say. So you're right. He's probably triple. Like Carr is probably triple what Andy Dalton would be. So do you think Andy Dalton is your guy and Derek Carr isn't that much better? Or do you think Derek Carr is that much better? Because Derek Carr, you're right. Dalton's going to call it 10 or 12, maybe 15. And Carr's going to cost 30. So you're right. Like, is he that much better? Again, it's an eye of the beholder situation. A year from now, we'll know the answer to that. Right now, it will be a polarizing, hotly debated topic.
Yep. Real quick, we got about 20 seconds before we break. You think he's going to be a Saint or not? I kind of feel it's going to happen.
I think he's going to be a Saint. I think whether it be trade or free agent, Derek Carr is the Saints quarterback.
And that means Andy Dalton and Jameis Winston are both gone.
Correct. Both gone. They'll go get another cheapo veteran or a rookie.
Yeah, draft somebody. Yep. Fletcher Mackel's with us. We still got a lot more to cover. Corey Johnson with you. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Don't move.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan.
Have a painting project but can't decide on the perfect color? At Helm Paint and Decorating, we offer half-pint paint samples in any Benjamin Moore color for under $5, so you can test potential paint colors before investing in a full gallon.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com. Rouse's Markets means convenience. Every one of our 65 locations opens at 7 a.m., some at 6:30, and they're open until 10 p.m., with some staying open till 11 or even midnight. Convenience. Rouse's Markets. Tastes like home.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
For game-changing innovation, look to the LVII family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a LVII company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latram.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday, dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets, a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
Recently, Kim Kardashian was seen at Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
Let's party.
Can you think of any other celebrities that won't sue us? Super Discount Store in Chalmette. The lowest prices allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and cold beer. 3235 Paris Road.
The city's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa with 4 area locations: New Orleans, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and Metairie. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. NOLA.woodhousespas.com.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Yeah, you right. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Corey Johnson with you. Hey, every day this program on radio, television, YouTube, and other places brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. Ronnie Lamarck from Araby Park. The big store, Lamarck Ford, #1 in the region. Lamarck Lincoln, #1 in the region. You think 70-something-year-old Ronnie Lamarck would be done after spending $50 million in Kennebra at the Lamarck Automotive Complex, right on the corner, right on the price, the Carr corner of Williams and I-10. You think he'd be done? Ronnie Lamarck scooped up Crescent City Ford, the truck dealership on Jefferson Highway. Every day, this program brought to you by Lamarck Automotive Complex and Lamarck Crescent City Ford in Elmwood. Fletch, you're very familiar with Ronnie Lamarck. I mean, he's 70-something going on 30-something. At our age, I got the Lamarck Automotive Complex. I'm done. He goes across the parish and scoops up the truck dealership on Jefferson Highway. He does not stop.
Look, my ties and roots with the Lamarck family run deep. So I love Ronnie and Natasha and Ronnie Michael and the whole family. So, yeah, Ronnie is fantastic. And you're right, no signs of slowing down.
Yeah, he used to have that tournament out at City Park with the media. I tied Dave Lagarde, and we had a putt-off for a Taurus for a month, and I won the putt-off. And I remember I have a photo of Ronnie and your dad handing me the keys to the Taurus, which I put about 3,000 miles on that bad boy in about 30 days.
It's like driving to California and back.
I swear, no, your dad was the best, man. I know you guys miss him. I miss him too. He was something special. All right, let's get back into it. So we both think Derek Carr will be a Saint. Boy, I don't gamble. You don't gamble. I wouldn't want to bet on this Kansas City Philly Super Bowl. Do you see like a favorite or, I really think this team's going to win because of this? I mean, Philly just seems as balanced as any team, stars on both sides of the field. And then how do you bet against Pat Mahomes in Kansas City? This thing, the Vegas boys, I love spreads because it kind of tells you something. 1.5 Philly favored, and that says it all. It's almost like a pick'em game.
Yeah, I don't know how to pick it. Look, I would never pick against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and the new dynasty of this era.
Yep.
We're moving into that territory. 5 straight AFC championship games, 3 Super Bowls in 5 years. He's only 27 years old, 2 MVPs in those 5 years. it's starting to be reminiscent of Belichick and Brady in New England and what they did for 20 years, basically, or 20 seasons. So, but again, everybody is said, how good are the Eagles? And the Eagles just keep winning. They got a good defense. Jalen Hurts is an MVP candidate now. So I don't know. I think Kansas City's going to win, but I don't know because Philadelphia has answered the bell, like no questions asked at every point this season.
Yeah, I kind of I know this sounds kind of, staying on the fence and not committing, but and kind of lame, but I think whoever has the ball last wins.
Could be. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with that. That very well could be.
Hey, this is kind of political, and I know that's not your favorite thing, but I know you're not scared of it. I love Sue Gunter, and I think Sue Gunter deserves accolades galore. But Dale Brown Court, 15 months ago, and it took 25 years after his retirement, Dale Brown Court at the Pete Maravich Assembly Center, the LSU board, hyper political. They kind of just, jammed it down everybody's throat. And the governor was even involved. It's now officially Dale Brown Sue Gunter Court. I think if it originally was that 15 months ago, Fletch, I would have been fine with it. But I think it's sort of a disservice to Dale Brown, especially since he's still alive. Do you have any opinion or comments on this?
No, I've followed it, and I've seen a lot of our colleagues that are very passionate about it. The one thing I'll say is I feel like it's a hyper Baton Rouge issue.
Yeah.
And so, look, I was here to cover Sue Gunter. I was not – Dale Brown had obviously moved on. John Brady was the coach when I got here.
Yeah.
I've met Dale Brown once. Obviously, I know who and what he was and what he did, but I never personally covered him or got to know him. I covered Sue Gunter a little bit, that women's Final Four team in 2003 that played here in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I interviewed her. Look, I feel like it's not that I don't want to talk about hyper Baton Rouge or hyper LSU issues. I just don't feel like I'm the right person to give
and you're right. It's nauseating.
I say this like if it was a Saints issue or a Pelicans issue, or if it was something more New Orleans, like if it was naming it for, Mr. Benson, or if it was about, I would have probably a stronger opinion. I understand what you're saying. Look, we covered it when they changed the name of the court to Dale Brown Court.
Yeah.
And then I saw, Gunter's a legend, so she deserves recognition. And I saw they're changing the name of it, and I see the fighting. I just don't know if I feel passionately enough or am as close to it as others to take a stance and kind of draw a line in the sand and say, this is it, this is why, and it has to be. But I've enjoyed following it. It's been, if nothing else, entertaining, seeing a lot of media people go at each other, which I don't love, but it's something that's not necessarily my hardcore world. It's definitely it's a polarizing topic in Baton Rouge, I'll tell you that.
I had Tim Brando on yesterday. He's kind of on the attack on a lot of folks. Hey, it's funny on Twitter. Hey, about 15 seconds, LSU, South Carolina, must-watch television before the Super Bowl at 1 p.m., right?
Yeah, it's a monster game of women's basketball. Two best teams in the country, maybe defending national champs. It's going to be great for LSU if they can pull off a win.
They might meet in the Final Four.
In Dallas, it would be great.
Hey, the Pels trade, they get a player or they just free up some cash? 15 seconds.
Yeah, it was a salary dump. It was freed up some cash. He may play a little bit, but that wasn't a basketball move.
Gotcha. Fletch, always a pleasure, man. Thanks for the input.
All right, no problem.
That's Fletcher Mackel, Fridays with Fletch. That's Blue Boy barking up a storm. What's up, buddy? You're excited because it's Friday and the weekend. More walking, more petting, more treats. That's so nice, buddy. You're right. Hanging out with Crazy Toley, too, huh? What else? Tell folks to stick around because the 5 o'clock powwow is now.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers Breitling time, 5 p.m. In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love. More. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
For game-changing innovation, look to the LVII family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a LVII company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latram.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, is now more convenient than ever. Now open, the Woodhouse Day Spa, Metairie location, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. Metairie and Kenner's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAC.com, your cool spot.
Where can you find shish kebab in New Orleans? Lamb, beef, chicken, shrimp, plus all your other Mediterranean favorites. Lebanon's Cafe on the streetcar line. Lunch, dinner, and shish kebab. Lebanon's Cafe.
If you or a loved one are suffering from addiction, listen to Springfield Wellness Center's founder, Paula Norris Metier.
I feel personally, when I walk around on the grounds, that it's sacred ground. It's healing. Just the environment is healing. Just being here makes one feel like that, I can let go. I can let go of the worry. I can let go of the stress that I've been carrying around for a long time. We don't shame anybody. We don't blame anybody. We don't judge anyone. Just that alone really is the foundation on which everything else that we do is done.
Put your addiction behind you. Call Springfield Wellness Center, 504-291-4000.
Just call us. That's all. And we'll be waiting for you.
504-291-4000. 291-4000. Springfield Wellness Center. SpringfieldWellnessCenter.com.
Here's New Orleans native son, Corey Johnson.
New Orleans City Councilman Freddie King joins us.
Corey, I want to first say thanks for having me. And believe it or not, man, I used to listen to your show all the time driving home. So it's an honor to be on.
Freddie, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you on the program. Thanks.
The official afternoon talk show of the city of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" And he said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about John Fury, an absolute genius at the fryer, making the best fried shrimp in New Orleans. None better anywhere. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
It seems today that all you see is violence in movies and sex on TV.
Yeah, you're right. Is it Family Guy coming up next? No, it's the Neutral Ground. Corey Johnson, the crew of Neutral Ground. Our usual Friday guests. You heard Fletcher Mackel, part of last hour. Oh, no. Coming up in a few minutes, Frank Brigtsen. Doesn't get much better than that. There's Mr. Drew Brees from La Jolla giving us that intro like he does every day. He's right. It is indeed New Orleans, Louisiana. Corey Johnson with you, a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. We got a ton to cover. 4 days till Valentine's Day. Guys, don't blow it. 11 days till Mardi Gras. Yeah, you right. 12 days left in the recall. Will Eileen Carter and Belden Batiste, will their goal be achieved? Hey, will New Orleans' goal be achieved? Talk about apathy with voters. 1 out of 5 New Orleans registered voters need to sign the recall. 1 out of 5. And New Orleans is struggling to get there. This thing should have been done 3 months ago. But we are gluttons for punishment. Buddy Romer said it best. Corey, as long as there's carnival season, all is good. And I've added to that. As long as there's carnival, 3 for 1 at the bar and hunting and fishing season, all is good in Louisiana. Speaking of hunting and fishing season, I'm going to lead off with that with our usual Friday guest. Michael Hecht joins us from Greater New Orleans, Inc. What's happening, Miguel?
The question is not if we're fishing. The question is, are we catching, right?
Yeah. I don't want to get into the micro. I'm going to give you a macro. Real quick, though, this segment with Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans, Inc. every Friday, brought to you by LVII, the global manufacturing giant. Over 1,200 jobs in Elmwood, over a few hundred in Hammond. And guess what? They're hiring. Latrim.com for a full listing of positions available. And it's not like 2 or 3 job openings. It's dozens and dozens and dozens. A job, a career for you at Latrim. Michael, if we had about 10, 12, 15 Latrims, we'd be Austin and Nashville. We'd have that economy, wouldn't we?
Yeah, no, it's the kind of company that is a wealth creator. You know, a lot of us, Corey, economic developers, radio hosts, Brightsons, we exist as a consequence of wealth.
Yep.
We're fine. No self-hate, but we need wealth creators in order to exist. And companies like Latrim that make something that we sell to people around the world, that's a wealth creation enterprise. We need 10 more, 20 more of them.
My buddy was down in Myrtle Grove in Plaquemine today going to hunt or fish or something, and he just took some photos, and he's a pretty sharp cat. He's like, largest economic development on planet Earth. He's talking about that Plaquemine LNG facility, north of $13 billion being invested, private money. I think the largest, loan or financial investment in the world right now. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's hugely and uniquely significant on a couple of levels. First of all, it is the largest project financing in the world for this year, for last year, 2022, meaning that banks and investors put more money into this project than any other project in the world. By the time it's done, that might creep above $20 billion, which would make it the largest project financing in world history.
Wow.
Happening down in Plaquemine. So that's number one. Number two, construction of phase 1, 4,000 jobs. Following that, permanent, about 1,200 jobs. So hugely important to Plaquemine, particularly after the Conoco refinery closed, but also the whole region. But then thirdly, Corey, globally important, because what's happening is that LNG from that facility and their other facility out in Calcasieu is being liquefied and shipped to Europe to help Europe wean itself off of Russian gas, the Putin war machine.
Yep.
So it's adding to geopolitical stability. That's not bad for a single project.
That's where all those boats are going, to Europe and to Japan, to Asia, right? The LNG ships from Plaquemine eventually, and from Lake Charles, they're going to Europe and Asia, right?
That's right. Yeah. Well, what happened, interestingly, is that the ships were originally bound for Asia. And because of the invasion of Ukraine, they now have been diverted to Europe. So interestingly, the consequence is that places like China are now building more coal capacity. And so it's actually interesting, but this is kind of a shocking but important stat for people to understand. Over last year, China brought on more coal capacity than was needed to wipe out all of the improvements in carbon emissions from the entire Western world from the past 20 years. Okay, and so when we're having these discussions about whether or not we should ban gas stoves, we really have to have a little perspective about what's happening at a global level in terms of climate impacts and be a little bit more, aware of where we should be applying our efforts.
Michael Hecht's with us from Greater New Orleans, Inc. You said 4,000 construction jobs?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's 700 plus acres. It's basically the world's largest refrigerator that they're building. It takes the gas, compresses it down to 1/600th of the size. And that all occurs down there about, a mile south of Myrtle Grove.
It's literally taking the gas and turning it into a liquid so it can be stored in those big round ball things that are on top of the ships, right?
No, that's exactly it. When you compress it, it becomes 1/600th
wow.
of the volume that it would have as gas. So you can actually transport it,
Unbelievable.
Otherwise you can't. It's just too, people talk about hydrogen as fuel. You have to understand that you have to use it in different ways. If you were to want to have a hydrogen-powered plane to fly you to Europe, you'd have to fill up the entire 747 with hydrogen gas, which would be uncomfortable to be inside. So we have to use the molecule in different ways.
Wow, amazing. Now, I guess the only negative, the green folks don't like it. You mentioned China and the expansion of coal. It's a lot of CO2 emission, I guess, when you're doing this process.
No, I mean, it's not a CO2. It's a clean process because you're not, you have CO2 when you do something like when you're breaking up natural gas to make hydrogen, when you're cracking gas. That's why we're advocating for green hydrogen, which you make from water. So the only byproduct is oxygen. But when you're liquefying natural gas, Corey, all you're doing is taking the gas and cooling it down so it shrinks. So you don't have any carbon emission because there's no carbon involved. It's just H2. It's just hydrogen.
Yeah, no, I thought that maybe it's the hydrogen emissions that's the problem. That
No, what it really is, Corey, let's be very clear about this, that there is a segment of the environmentalist community, not all, but the extreme, that is against any technology that allows for the use of hydrocarbons, whether it's liquefaction or it's carbon capture, which makes regular processes much cleaner. They don't like these processes because they extend the usefulness of hydrocarbons. They are advocating for a world where tomorrow we all just go to zero emission processes, as well as getting rid of all plastics. And I hate to tell you, Corey, but that's a world where your life is short, nasty, and brutish.
Yeah. Plus, besides that, never in the history of mankind has a technology been withheld. I mean, you remember when we were kids, it was the 200 mile per gallon carburetor, tires and batteries that last forever. Obviously, none of that was true. And when we're ready for the green, it'll be because the technology's ready for the green. Hey, Michael, we got about a minute left. Give us an update. 6 months of the New Orleans Coalition.
Hey, I'll give you 20 seconds on three things. First of all, membership. When we started out, Corps, we thought we would get a few dozen members. We, a couple of weeks ago, broke 500, now representing tens of thousands of employees of nonprofit civic organizations and businesses, utterly diverse, racially, politically, geographically, a real movement to create a safer city for ourselves and our children. The second is over the last 6 months, we actually have accomplished a lot. We've gotten money for police, money for equipment, civilianization, new dashboards, a commitment to a national search for a police chief, and we've raised over $5 million towards our 3-year goal for youth service organizations. Going forward, our goals include making sure we do the police search quickly, that we raise the salary of the police chief. We're looking to also start working on recruiting and retention, because that is a major problem right now. Last year, we lost net 115 officers, 10% of the force. That is unsustainable.
Yep.
We're starting to work on violence prevention with Dr. Avegno, treating violence as a public health crisis like COVID. And then we're going to continue to raise millions of dollars to invest in youth service organizations, because we know we can't police our way out of this crisis. So, it's a great group, and we're looking forward to continuing to work with the council, the administration, the DA, everybody. And, it's not going to happen quickly, but I think we're going to have a better 23 than we did 22.
Yeah, I think you're right on the money. Michael Hecht, Greater New Orleans Inc. Always a pleasure, brother. Thank you.
Happy Mardi Gras, my friend. Be safe.
Yep. Next week will be a fun segment as we creep into Mardi Gras. Thanks, Michael. That's Michael Hecht joining us from Greater New Orleans Inc. Corey Johnson with you.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Super discount store in Chalmette.
3235 Paris Road.
The lowest price allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and beer.
Worth the drive from anywhere.
If you're throwing a party and need wine, alcohol, and cold beer, super discount store in Chalmette.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAC.com, your cool spot.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the LVII family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a LVII company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latram.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday, dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets, a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Fantasy Friday edition of the program, I should say. 4 days. I'm miscalculating. 4 days till Valentine's Day. 11 days to Mardi Gras. 12 days left to sign the recall. Hey, let's head to Uptown, the Riverbend, the Carrollton section of Uptown, Dante Street, about 50 feet off of River Road, Leek Avenue. We're heading to Little Creole Cottage, has to be over 100 years old. The restaurant there is over 36 years old. We're going to Brigtsen's. Frank Brigtsen joins us on the program again. What's happening, Frank?
Where you at, Corey? How you doing, Cap?
Yeah, doing well, man. Doing good on this Friday. I'll take your line. TGIF.
TGIF.
Yep. Thank goodness, man. And Mardi Gras right around the corner. Wow.
Yeah, parade starting tonight.
Yep. You know what I love about Brigtsen's? Besides, it's great. It's off the Mardi Gras beaten path. You can get there. You don't have to worry about parade traffic or any of that kind of stuff. And, you know, I love the parades like everybody, but when you kind of need to decompress, get away, get a good meal, you can do it over Mardi Gras at Brigtsen's and not have to worry about the stress of parades and traffic and crowds.
That's very true, and we're close, but not too close.
Yep. Now, a lot of folks think, oh, it's jammed up against the river, which it is. But, I mean, if you're in Uptown, Mid-City, Old Jefferson, easy to get to. Old Jefferson, Old Metairie, I always say, you get to Causeway and River Road, you're like 3 minutes away from Brigtsen's. I don't think a lot of folks realize that in Metairie, Old Jefferson, Jefferson Parish in general, about 3 minutes from where Causeway hits River Road to the front door of Brigtsen's. Literally 3 minutes, not 7, not 15, 3 minutes.
That's true, and River Road is a great way to go. I spoke with someone yesterday who's not from here, and they were telling me how their GPS always sends them to Earhart and Carrollton, and they just discovered River Road.
Yeah.
Yeah. I live in River Ridge, and my house is 17 minutes from the restaurant. That's quick and easy.
At the most. And you maybe have about 3 or 4 stoplights total from your house. There are only like 2 on River Road, like by Oshner and Causeway and River Road. No other traffic lights, so it's real easy. And parking's real easy. You guys are in a convenient spot. There's that, I don't know, pseudo-modern Dante Village Park, shopping center that maybe, I don't know, 20, 30 years old. And at night, all those shops are shut down right now. The Oric shop, Talbot's, all that are closed. And unlimited parking for Brigtsen's about 30 feet from the door.
That's right. And some people don't realize we are actually part of Dante Village. That's our landlord. So you're perfectly welcome to park in the shopping center parking lot. There's street parking too, as long as you avoid the road construction or lack thereof.
Hey, when you moved into Brigtsen's 36 years ago into that cottage, was the Dante Village Shopping Center there? If it was brand new, huh?
Yeah, it was. It was a few years old. It was developed by the late John Laborde of Tidewater Marine.
Wow.
And the whole property is all one conglomerate.
Wow. Those new apartments behind you, is that part of it too or no?
No. That's a whole separate development. They took an older building and put 2 floors or an extra floor on top of it and created 3 stories of condos. But it's no hassle for us.
Boy, Dante Street is as smooth as it can be. And it looks like that lunar landscape of Maple Street's about to be as smooth as it can be. They're very close.
It's coming along. It's still a little patchy.
Yep.
And you never know what to expect. But we've been in touch with our city council person, Joe Geruso, and he's helping us expedite or at least explain what's going on. So it's coming along.
Between that and Dante and a redo of River Road, they're supposed to do that like they did Magazine through Audubon Park. You're going to be in the smoothest area of town, Frank.
I'll take it.
Yep. Hey, what's on the menu tonight? Any goodies, anything seasonal that maybe wasn't there last week or last month?
Absolutely. We are just at the beginning of fresh crawfish season.
Wow.
Live crawfish are out. We're starting to see a few peeled crawfish tails. So we bought a sack of crawfish. Jonelle, our kitchen manager, boiled them for us. Chef Larry made crawfish stock, a seasoned crawfish stock, and made crawfish and corn soup. And I tell you what, this is absolutely incredible. And it's the stock that makes it. If you think of the flavor of boiled crawfish, that's what the soup tastes like.
Now, what is the difference between crawfish and corn soup and crawfish and corn bisque?
Well, that's a matter of semantics. And when you say crab and corn bisque or crawfish and corn bisque, that's actually a misnomer because a bisque implies a puree. And this is not a puree. So it's not a true bisque, it's a soup. So it's someone even claiming bisque, if you see chunks of crab or chunks of crawfish or pieces of corn, it's really not a bisque. And technically in classic French cuisine, that's not a bisque. I think that may have evolved because of the richness of it, perhaps. I don't know.
Or maybe just to give it a little pizzazz.
Yeah, it's a nicer word. It's one of my favorite words.
Exactly. Oh, bisque compared to soup. Soup comes in a can, I don't know, whatever. All right, so you got the crawfish and corn soup. That has to just be fantastic.
It is. And we garnish it with some freshly sauteed crawfish tails.
Wow.
Don't just throw a bunch of crawfish in there and hold it all night. We take down a skillet and saute crawfish tails to order. When you order a cup or a bowl of the soup, we saute the crawfish fresh. And so nice and plump and not overcooked.
Wow. Unbelievable. Any potatoes in that or no?
No. Onion, celery, the corn, that's the vegetable component, the crawfish stock, a little bit of blonde roux, and then we use milk and cream for the dairy.
Wow. So good. All right. What about the crawfish egg rolls? Geez, some pizza. Are those coming soon?
Coming soon. We're not seeing fresh crawfish tails every day, but once we do, we'll start to see the egg rolls on the menu. Probably be after Mardi Gras for Lent.
That's an unfair dish, Frank. The crawfish that you saute, you could just give me that on a plate. I don't even need rice. You could just give me that on a plate. I'd be like an 11 on a 1 to 10 scale. Then you put it in these little homemade dough shells and you fry those. So we're getting a little of that, fat from the oil and the crispy shell. So it's taking it up another level. And then instead of stopping there in typical Frank Brigtsen fashion, you come up with an insane dipping sauce for those egg rolls. That's just off the charts.
That is so good. And, I teach out at NOCA a little bit at the Culinary Arts Department. And last week we did the crawfish egg rolls. And yesterday we made crawfish pies. Yesterday I did a Hank Williams class. We made jambalaya, crawfish pie, and filet gumbo.
You know where I went yesterday to get a bite to eat?
Where?
8 Assassin on Claiborne off the interstate. An old Galatois chef, and I'm in there. He's trying to bring like Galatois type stuff, lamb chops and stuff to kind of the hood. It's literally on Claiborne in between the I-10 and Elysian Fields. And there were 3 gnocchi chefs in there, you know, students.
Nice.
And I was talking to these three ladies, and Noki's like open for the next week and a half with an Indian food menu. I didn't realize.
Yes.
They say every year, every class, they come up with like a gimmick, like what kind of food they're going to serve. And it's open for lunch for like 10 days straight. That's amazing.
It is, and that's a sleeper. You should try that out. I did last fall. I went for their student pop-up, they call it, and it was called Basil, Basil, and it was a Thai-inspired menu, and It was a knockout.
It's got to
And
be.
it's up on the third floor there. It's a beautiful cafe. It's a restaurant, is what it is, and the students actually, open a restaurant for a week and a half, and it's a wonderful experience.
What a great school that is. I mean, T. Martin and you and a bunch of people getting that going, and just a great concept where, like, the citizens get to win. I get to go to this restaurant for 10 days that's open for lunch, and then it kind of completes what they're teaching. Like, here's a real restaurant experience before you work in a real restaurant.
Exactly, and that should be a part of a culinary program. They do it up at Nichols as well.
Genius.
And they get the actual service experience. It's not just making one dish and, that's delicious, but actually producing it. And that's a whole other ball game. So they get a true restaurant experience before they head out into the workplace.
Go check out 8 Fresh Assassin on Claiborne when you get a chance. You've turned me on to some good places. Your pals with the burger on Rampart Street, they're getting like James Beard recognition, aren't they?
Yeah, Palm and Pine.
Yep.
My friends Jordan and Amaris Herndon are semifinalists for the Best Chef Southeast James Beard Award, which is fabulous, and they deserve it. They do great food. They're really fun, and it's a very cool, hip place.
Sometimes we get these folks that claim to be New Orleanians. They're kind of against the city. They went up against the wrong guy down the street, that Sean Meenan guy, who was a original founder in Etsy. He's got deep pockets. He was a Golden Gloves champion. It took him a decade, but that blighted gas station on the corner of Rampart and Esplanade is now open as Havana Outpost. I'm not big on that necessarily, but I'm going to go give it a try, like some Cuban and sort of Latino type food.
That's good to hear. I didn't know what's happening.
Yeah, he's finally got it open. Plus, it's just a blighted building, Frank. I mean, I don't remember. You want to know the last time someone pumped gas there? I was a child. You were like at De La Salle or LSU. It's just sinful what we do sometimes in New Orleans, but he's open right down the street. Hey, besides the the crawfish and corn soup, any other seasonal items on the menu? What else are you doing with crawfish or are about to do with crawfish?
That's it so far. We kind of do a soup rotation, and this crawfish and corn soup comes first. I want to say this is something we rarely do, Corey, and that is we're going to be open on Ash Wednesday, and that'll be our first day after Mardi Gras, of course, first day of Lent. So I'm going to come out swinging on Ash Wednesday. We're going to have our crawfish bisque. A real bisque, the classic crawfish bisque with crawfish boulettes, the little fried crawfish dressings. So that'll be on Ash Wednesday for as long as it lasts. That'll be next. And also on Ash Wednesday, drum roll, we're going to bring back our seafood platter.
Nice. I was just thinking about the seafood platter, which really is amazing. And besides it being fantastic and about 4 or 5, 6 different choices on it, or not choices, different parts to it, none of it's fried at all. Everybody thinks seafood platter and fried, 0 fried.
That's right. We try and be more creative with it, and it's really, really fun. And we can't wait to bring it back. It's been, since the pandemic. So it's been 3 years.
Hey.
So it's coming back.
Frank, I'm kind of the poster boy for Catholicism. I go to like church on Christmas only. You got a steak for me during Lent. You got chicken for me during Lent. You got a pork chop for me during Lent, don't you?
We do. We have all that. That'll still be on the menu. Right now, we're kind of featuring some new meat dishes before we get into Lent. So this week and next week, too, we'll have our braised pork ossobuco in a natural gravy, and that's served with fontina cheese grits and roasted vegetables. And it's a big, almost a pound pork hind shank. Larry braises that for about 3.5 hours till it's nice and tender, and makes a natural gravy with the pan drippings, and it is a knockout.
No knife needed?
No, it'll fall right up the bone. It's so delicious.
Wow. And does that temporarily replace the pork chop with the debris gravy?
Oh, no, we still have that, too. The pork chops have been selling really well lately. Pan-roasted pork chop with pork debris sauce and mashed potatoes. A very, very tender and juicy pork chop because the pork racks have been brined for 15 hours, which keeps the moistness in the meat and makes it a little extra tender.
If you go to Webster's Dictionary and look up comfort food, I think that's the photo they're going to use, right?
Oh, that's the one, man. Brown food is good food.
Yeah, and just such, it really is just such like it's a gourmet dish, yet it's sort of like I said, comfort food. You can just get into that and enjoy it. I mean, who doesn't like a double cut pork chop and then that you go over the top as usual with the pork debris sauce and then mashed potatoes where that sauce is spilling all into the potatoes? Wow.
Exactly. I mean, if you like gravy, this is the dish for you. And I love gravy.
You got the king cake bread pudding that doesn't have king cake in it.
Yeah, this is a king cake made with French bread, designed to taste like king cake, served with a cream cheese sauce and topped with an Italian meringue, which is a nice cooked meringue, and then we brulee it to give it a nice look and sprinkle it with purple, green, and gold sugars, and it tastes like a cream cheese king cake. And that'll be on the menu through Mardi Gras, and then we'll switch over to something else.
Boy, you know, it's hard to get excited about a salad, but coming in there a few weeks ago with my friend Jimmy and his wife, that Caesar salad, I was like, my God, Jimmy, I got to take my fork in there and stab in there and get a few pieces. That salad just looks and tastes amazing.
Thank you. And you know, that's just a classic Caesar salad. But, you know, honestly, a lot of people tell me it's the best they've ever had. The dressing is just super well-balanced, garlicky, and we make our own croutons, of course, and we garnish that with marinated white anchovies, which is not strong, fishy like cured anchovies, but it gives it a nice, meaty sort of quality to it, and a lovely, lovely flavor.
Anchovies in the dressing too, or no?
Yes.
Wow. Frank, what are we missing? We got soup. We got some entrees mentioned. What you got as far as fish? And I always mention this. You taught me a lot. I mean, I use this philosophy when I go get a steak at a grocery store. I'll go to Rouse's or something, and I'm like, I want a New York strip tonight. I want a ribeye. Now I don't do that. I look in the case and I go, what steak looks the best? What looks most marvelous? Oh, wow. I might have a filet. I might have a skirt steak. It might be a strip or ribeye. I let the what I see dictate what I'm going to cook that night. And that's how you do your fish thing. You don't go, we're having speckled trout, we're having tuna tonight. You have speckled trout and tuna when it's fresh and available. You let the purveyor dictate what's on the menu, right?
That's right. I only buy BA fish, best available. And this week we've got everybody's favorite, speckled trout and redfish. And, of course, the blackened tuna as well. The trout's still coming in really, really nice. Redfish is our broiled fish with crab crust and a lemon crab sauce. And to go with your meal, we have a beautiful wine list, wines by the glass. And we have a lovely cocktail program with its own separate menu. Our brilliant bartender, Carrie, has created a lot of very unique cocktails. There's mocktails, non-alcoholic drinks called Smart Choices and Good Decisions. And we use a lot of, just like we do with our food, we buy local. We have about 20 different local spirits, rums, things like that, that are used in our cocktails.
I'm getting a text from, let me see, some girl, Marna. This segment's supposed to be 10 minutes. You're at 18 minutes. We have a restaurant to run! Exclamation point.
Have a great weekend, Corey. We love you, New Orleans. Have fun at the parades and be careful and take care of each other.
Hey, Frank, before we let you go, any openings tonight or tomorrow night? I know Tuesday, Valentine's Day, is fully booked. And how's next weekend before Mardi Gras looking?
We are booked this weekend and Tuesday for Valentine's. So make a reservation for next week after that.
Yeah, Wednesday through next Saturday night, or Ash Wednesday, the day after Mardi Gras, right?
Ash Wednesday's filling up. Give us a holler.
Frank, thanks so much.
A pleasure, Corey. Thank you, friend.
That's Frank Brigtsen joining us from his restaurant on the Riverbend. Yeah, you right. Love getting Frank on the program every Friday afternoon. So good. That phone number over at Brigtsen's is 861-7610. 861-7610. It should be in your phone. 861-7610. The website is brightsens.com. Brigtsen spelled like Brig T S-E-N-S. Brig T S-E-N-S. BRIGTSENS.com. You can check out the menu. They have a to-go menu, and it's sort of funny. They have a to-go menu, but you can order off the regular menu, too. You can get to-go food at Brigtsen's, which is pretty amazing. Corey Johnson with you on a Friday. Speaking of pretty amazing, I went down to Franklin and Fillmore. That's the headquarters of Young's Dry Cleaning. They've been in that building since 1940. Since 1940. I went and saw Dale, his brother Don's daughter's now working at Young's. It's like fourth, fifth generation now. Yeah, 83 years of excellence. Truly a New Orleans institution. If you don't look like your dry cleaner and you're looking to experience the best, or you just want to experience the best dry cleaner, youngsdrycleaning.com. youngsdrycleaning.com. Hey, I've got a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate or two to give away. And I think a few softball pitches. It's like a garbage can lid coming at you. Easy to smack it out the park. Anyone can get a hit. Rouse's Market's phone lines to participate, 504-766-9480. 504-766-9480. Since we're nearing the top of the hour, only about 18 minutes left in the show, Jason's just going to take your calls. You don't even have to come on the air, and he'll get the answer from you. And you can pick up 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse, which it's just in time because Tuesday, 4 days away, guys, Valentine's Day, this Tuesday. A week before Mardi Gras, this Tuesday, February 14th, is Valentine's Day. She's expecting something from you. Don't avoid it. Don't go, oh, God, what a dilemma. What am I going to get her? And then when I decide what am I going to get her, is she going to like it? I got your problem solved. I'm telling you what to get her, and she's going to love it. Get her a day of relaxation at the city's premier day spa, the Woodhouse Day Spa. 4 locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, coming in 4 weeks. A 5th location, Mandeville. Yeah, you right. All right, 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse Day Spa available. First super crew. The first super crew of Mardi Gras, the big floats. The first super crew. Give me the answer to that. 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse Day Spa is yours. Second question, which year did that super crew get rolling? Which year did that super crew get a rolling? You got answers? I got 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse. 2 easy questions. 2 folks are going to be a big winner today. 766-9480. 766-9480. 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse can be yours. First super crew. Give me the answer. I got a Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate for you. And which year did that super crew first start a rolling? 766-9480. 766-9480. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, 4 days to Valentine's Day, 11 days to Mardi Gras, 12 days till the recall. Hey, NOLA City Council, Jefferson Parish City Council, St. Tammany City Council. Let's make this the last Mardi Gras with Chinese throws. Let's make this the last Mardi Gras with Chinese throws. No throws for Mardi Gras imported from China. And there's a great way to, folks are like, where are we going to get it? How are we going to do it? Think quality over quantity. Instead of throwing a bunch of junk that we throw away in a few hours, literally, there's no throws today that you keep except maybe about 1 out of 100. And we should be focusing on expanding the 1 out of 100, 2 out of 100, 3 out of 100. Those Rex stainless steel tumblers, those are keeper throws that you'll have like a lifetime, literally. These little cups made out of stainless steel, they're awesome. That's like a valuable throw. Think like wooden spoons and spatulas and towels with the crew's name. It could be kitchen towels, bath towels, beach towels with the crew's insignia on them. T-shirts, polo type shirts with the crew's logo on them. Folks will covet that kind of stuff instead of just throwing like a garbage bag of crap, of garbage, literally. Throw stuff that people want. Mardi Gras needs to go away from China and quality over quantity. Folks, want stuff we can keep, kitchen utensils, things of that nature. Anyway, I'd like this to be the last Mardi Gras with Chinese throws. Another balloon flying over Alaska that the U.S. government had to shoot down. A second balloon shot it down over Alaska. China's relentless. All we do at Mardi Gras is make millionaires. A few dozen Chinese men become millionaires selling us crap, selling us plastic junk. Hey, speaking of junk, Zulu, I like the parade. I like the organization. They do so much for the community. They're doubling down on their belligerent stance of bringing Irvin Mayfield into play. So many great black musicians, maybe like 100, that would love that gig, that would love that job. And you're selling out New Orleans black musicians to bring Irvin Mayfield in. Not once, but twice over Mardi Gras. It's mind-blowing. A convicted felon with no remorse that got out of jail in 11 months, that is paying $500 a month restitution. He stole $1.3 million. $1.3 million. I'm not making up the number. And that's what they busted him for. That Gators store that they turned into his, New Orleans orchestra building or whatever, ironically on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and Aretha Castle Haley Boulevard. A couple of civil rights leaders, one nationally, one locally, on that corner. How ironical is that? That's a $10 million building. If that's a $10 million building, then I'd like to sell you my house. I'll sell you my house for about $2-3 million bucks, 10 times more than it's worth. That's like about a $2 or $3 million building. Irvin Mayfield and Markham and probably some other losers pocketed a bunch of money off that building as well, and probably a bunch of other things. There's one thing you have to realize about folks. I'm all for giving folks a second chance. You act like this is all Irvin Mayfield did. Irvin Mayfield is a deviant. Always has been, always will be. He didn't learn a lesson here because he was in jail for 11 months and is paying $500 restitution. It would take him 200 years to pay back the money he stole, primarily from inner city black kids. Another ironical part of this story. I'm not talking about white kids that go to Country Day and live on State Street. We're talking about inner city black boys and girls that need the New Orleans library system. And Irvin Mayfield's like, the hell with them. I could care less about them. I need a gold-plated trumpet. I want to stay at the Four Seasons. I'm going to have a $1,300 room service breakfast. Just obnoxious behavior. Not acting rich or wealthy, acting obnoxiously. And what does Zulu do? They bring him in on January 14th and have him play. And then they double down, and he'll be playing at their Lundi Gras celebration at Waldenburg Park. So back in January, they have him on Broad in Orleans at the Zulu headquarters playing. And now they're doubling down and having him play at Waldenburg Park again. Shame on you, Zulu. You got to do better. Too many black musicians that need the money, need the job, and would love to have a gig with Zulu. Would love it. It would be something memorable for them. What do? You sell out and feel compelled to bring in Irvin Mayfield. And I know no one at Zulu cares. I get it. I wouldn't care either. I'm just telling you my story. This year, just a few months ago, I'm like, I'm going to try to join Zulu if they'll have me, or try to join this Krewe of St. Anne, which I chose the Krewe of St. Anne because Zulu folks strung me along, wouldn't call me back. I finally kept calling them. Finally, I get a return call. And then when I do, they say they're too busy. This is like a month ago. Too busy to come on your show. We got Mardi Gras stuff. So basically a cowardly approach, not coming on this program. And here's the really sad part. I love Zulu. I love their tradition. I love what they do for the city. 95+% of the conversation was going to be about that. Zulu and their history. They're part of the fabric of the city, the contribution. But, they know what they're doing is wrong. And they're like, we're not going to go on this program with Corey and have him ask us about Irvin Mayfield and our crappy decision to not only have him once, which was totally wrong, but to have him twice. Sinful behavior by Zulu. Like I said, shame on Zulu. Too many black musicians, white musician, Latino, Asian, whatever. Too many black musicians that would love the gig to come perform for Zulu. Instead, you sell out and bring in this convicted felon, Irvin Mayfield. Just a total pathetic agenda. Did I say shame on Zulu? Yeah, I think I did. LaToya, the Destroyer Cantrell, the city paid for mailer, $65,000, not $50,000 as originally reported. And they made it official up in Baton Rouge. LSU is our broken politician's favorite toy to play with. Dale Brown Court at the PMAC is now officially Dale Brown Sue Gunter Court. And I love Sue Gunter, but it was Dale Brown Court for 15 months. And then you add Sue Gunter's name. 15 months ago, it was a 12-3 vote to make it Dale Brown Court. And then a 12-3 vote not to add Sue Gunter's name to that court. I love Sue Gunter. The main entrance to the PMAC, the practice facility for men and women's basketball, the scoreboard, a multi-million-dollar scoreboard, the foyer. I mean, we can go on and on. There has to be some other building or street or something you could honor Sue Gunter. But you're kind of watering down Dale Brown's legacy. Dale Brown's still alive, too, and he has to deal with this. I just think just a lame political decision. Even if you don't have a problem with the political decision, or the decision, it's hyper-political. The board, the governor's involved, just Louisiana politics and LSU at its nastiest. And I love Sue Gunter. I knew Sue Gunter. I covered her. I went up to her wake in Baton Rouge, drove there, stayed there 30 minutes, drove right back to town because of what Sue Gunter meant to me personally. Always available. But I think Sue Gunter today would be like, yeah, this is for Dale. Put me on something else or do whatever you want, but this was for Dale Brown. So just politics at its worst in Louisiana. Hey, Fury's restaurant open till 9 p.m. tonight. Yeah, you're right. Fury's in Metairie. New Orleans-inspired food. And maybe, just maybe, the only restaurant in the entire city, sad to say, they only serve local fresh seafood. Nothing ever frozen and nothing from out of state or out of the country. Local fresh seafood exclusively. It's Fury's restaurant in Metairie, open till 9.
Hi, everyone. It's Tommy Wrong for AsbestosMoneyGrab.com. This is not, I repeat, not for folks with real asbestos problems. But if you're like me and we're maybe taking a class in high school where you maybe breathed in some brake dust and you know for certain you're fine, but you're the type of person that takes advantage of these types of situations, lawyer up and steal some money like me. Go to I'm not really hurt at all, but like exploiting the system for freecash.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAIT.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Hey, y'all, it's Junket Cantrell, Mayor, City of New Orleans. We've decided to hold a contest where you can decide where I go next on my taxpayer finance vacation. I was thinking about Acapulco, but that's in the Western Hemisphere, and we can do a lot better than that. Think Europe, Asia, maybe even the Middle East. You know, if it's safe. You don't want old Junket Cantrell getting hurt. It's all about my vacation, having fun, and spending the city's money on my entertainment. I'll be flying first class, of course, and I'll be bringing some administrative flunkies with me. It should only cost the city around $30,000, maybe $40,000. Help me pick my next city finance vacation. Go online, Cantrell Junket at cityofno.gov. And have a fleeced day.
Hey, Jason, better late than never, question mark? Time to blow the 5 o'clock whistle, about 55 minutes late. Ouch. I love this time of the week 55 minutes ago, a little after 5 o'clock on a Friday. Yeah, we forgot about the 5 o'clock whistle 55 minutes ago. No, a little after 5, 100% of the work week's in the book, 100% of the weekend's in front of you. I guess now like 97% of the work weeks, I should say 100% of the work week's behind you. Maybe 95% of the weekend's in front of you at this point. Oh boy, hit it again.
Super discount, stop!
Yep, 5 o'clock whistle brought to you by Super D. Hey, Valentine's Day is this Tuesday. Why don't you get her some real natural diamonds, all price points, few $100 to thousands of dollars. I'm talking about Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. Go see Ken Friend because you do have a friend in the jewelry business. On Maple Street in between Broadway and Carrollton, real diamonds, natural diamonds, 1 billion years old. not 3-week-old man-made diamonds that these so-called diamond stores are pushing on you. Those diamonds depreciate. Even Blue Boy knows that. What's that, buddy? Get real natural diamonds 1 billion years old from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. Where are they located, Blue? We're going to test you. Maple Street in between Broadway and Carrollton. Blue Boy, you never miss a beat. Thanks, everyone. Have a great, safe weekend. See you Monday.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel
It's all
4 and
true.
Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube,
Okay, Blue
on
Boy,
radio
be
at NOLA
quiet.
Talk 93.9
Be quiet,
FM,
Blue Boy.
WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers.
Yep.
You've got a friend in the jewelry
Go
business.
see him on
Come see
Tuesday.
us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.